President Trump attacked LeBron James in a late-night tweet Friday after the NBA star considered whether he'd run for president if no other candidate had the potential of beating Trump, and criticized the president for using sports to wedge a divide between Americans. Specific, targeted action is a great alternative to tariffs, and the president would be wise to let this inform his thinking as he prosecutes his trade agenda. Democrat Danny O'Connor is within striking distance of Republican Troy Balderson in an Ohio congressional district that has elected Republicans for decades and went for President Trump by 11 points. Washington Post reporter Dave Weigel's recent story, The New Dr. No, Rep. Justin Amish, marooned in Congress, explores, among other things, how the Libertarian congressman's often critical approach to President Trump contrasts with other libertarians, including fellow Republican Kentucky Sen. Rep. Paul, who has been cast as a Trump defender. North Korea's tactics of delaying and deceiving have been central to its diplomacy for decades, including charges of trying to pass off animal bones as war remains in 2011. Alexandria, Virginia. The 12-member jury who will decide former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort's future were given an intimate look this week at his seven-figure lifestyle and financial records, which the government say, when taken together, provide evidence he was hiding millions of dollars of income from tax authorities. Here's a quote this week from liberal New York Times columnist Charles Blow, former director of the paper's graphics department. If Trump wants to beat Barack Obama's Twitter record for most liked tweet, he only needs to tweet 2 words, I resign. Tennessee Republicans are resurrecting a year-old tweet in which a Democratic operative mocked voters who supported President Trump as they prepare to defend an open U.S. Senate seat in the midterm elections. The Trump administration's threat to strip California's unique authority to set its own vehicle emissions standards has struck a nerve with leaders of the progressive state, which views itself as the nationwide trendsetter in making cars cleaner. President Trump asked late Friday if Sen. Dianne Feinstein, D. Caliph, will be investigating herself after details surfaced that Chinese intelligence officials had once recruited a staff member at her local office to report back to them on local politics. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will ultimately determine the timeline for denuclearization of his country. Maria Butina, the alleged Russian spy indicted last month on charges of conspiring against the U.S., exchanged emails and attended social events with a former Trump campaign aide in the final weeks before Election Day, according to a new report. Senator Cory Booker, DNJ, didn't realize a sign he was photographed holding contained the slogan for a pro-Palestinian movement, his office said Friday. There's nothing the national press loves more than talking about itself. But that doesn't mean we should trust their news judgment on how important it is. The federal judge who had ordered in June that separated migrant families be reunited said on Friday the Trump administration is to blame for the more than 400 cases where parents were deported and their unaccompanied children were left in federal custody. President Trump's decommissioned panel on election integrity found no evidence of widespread voter fraud, a former panel member wrote in a letter Friday.